Hey, Cheesy here. Welcome back. We're about to question our girl, Miss Young. Her hair is fire and everything seems wrong because she said that he did something, which was drank all of his cup. But no, there is a spilled thing here. He did not drink all of his cup. How dare you? So much just is drunk, evaporated. It's tricky from... Yeah, he did not drink. He didn't down it. He didn't down it, girl. You cannot say that. I have the evidence. I'm a lawyer. Guess we could talk about the cups. I'm going to talk about CCE. He said CCE, Standard Operating Procedure, a moment ago. What is that? CCE stands for Counter Corporate Espionage, which is just industry doublespeak for corporate espionage. This is great. Only used in self-defense, you understand? So NOOO anticipates employees at your level getting poisoned? They give us all kinds of CC training. Subtly, of course, usually disguised on the itinerary as leadership workshops or psychiatric evolutions. Oh man, I'm having trouble saying stuff. They train you to expect to get murdered at these leadership workshops. Murder is fairly rare at our level. More likely, they'll want us too sick to work. Let us drain company resources in a hospital bed while our position sits vacant. That's smart, like snipers purposefully avoiding vital areas to strain the enemy's medical resources. That's terrible. Like snipers purposely avoiding vital areas in order to strain the enemy's medical resources. That's nothing. I love that Sarah just said exactly what was on Morgan's mind. That's nothing compared to when they want to turn an asset, feel ill for the rest of your life with an undiagnosable malady, or become our mole and then we'll send you the antidote every 2 weeks. That's a nasty piece of work. It's a nasty line of work. Consulting. I wonder if David got wrapped up in that kind of thing. I'm sorry? That's just what they call it. Can't exactly put corporate spy on your CV. Wait, what did they call it? Consulting. So every consultant I've met at a cocktail party was actually... It depends. Did they say that they're consultants? Or did they say they were in consulting? How the hell am I supposed to remember? So, do you people think that what happened to David was a deliberate attack? NOOO's competitors have been trying to get David for years, and that's the timescale their plans operate on. Yeah, I guess so. If this was an attack from a rival corporation, the company would have seen it coming, and they'd probably have struck first. Fair. Talk to me about those cups, girl, because they downed it? I don't know. I've been curious about this ever since I saw the scene. Why the plastic cups? There's a story there. David and I got hired around the same time under similar circumstances. Headhunted while finishing our higher education. During recruiting, the company claimed to want us badly, but in practice, our actual authority was inexperienced and overpaid. You must have been extremely unpopular. You don't mince words. We didn't either back then. We were loudly trying to convince our superiors that their entire sales model for androids was antiquated and self-defeating. The two of them made the one-point doctrine. That's not the story I've heard in NOOO commercials and NOOO-sponsored media. And come to think of it, it's not a story I've ever heard from David himself. We had this deadline, self-imposed, but still a deadline. We wanted to get our pitch to the president of international sales by the end of the day. 7 p.m. rolls around and people start filtering out. David still has his head buried in diagrams and sales figures. Imagine a technical man like him, a programmer, trying to make a sales pitch. The clock hits 9, and even the zombies start heading home. So I turn to David, tell him it's not going to happen. We're nowhere near finished, and the day's long since been over. He looked at me like I'm the only other person on a sinking boat, and I've just stopped pitching water, and he says, "The president lives on the other side of the globe. We've still got all night until his end of day." We wrapped up at 4 a.m, just us and the cleaning staff. Back then, only half of them were ADDs. He finally sends the message, and I'm I'm ready to collapse. I've got nothing. We stared blankly at his inbox for the next 40 minutes, hoping that the harsh light would give us the energy to work through the next day. And we got a response. It wasn't long, but it showed he was interested. I had been turned down so many times before then, ignored and placated, passed up and ghosted, but together, David and I, we finally gotten a win. So David asks if I got anything to drink. I've got a bottle of some swill in a cabinet at my desk, but he doesn't want to drink from the bottle. He says he wants to toast. So we sat there at 5:19 in the morning, toasting awful vodka to one another in cups we grabbed from the break room, toasting our first victory against the corporate beast. Between the lack of sleep and the drinking, the next day at work was hell. Sounds like a good memory. Plastic cups and liquor. That was our little ritual. Huh. Young's cups. Interesting. So I didn't think twice when he presented me with my cup. It was ceremony for us. Interesting. As VP of Android Futures, you're David's superior, aren't you? That's correct. Didn't you join the company around the same time? David was always more interested in his work than he was in climbing the ladder. I believe that. He didn't like playing the corporate politics game. I 100% understand that. So was he unpopular around here? Not unpopular, no. Not the great Dr. David Asher. Misunderstood, perhaps. How so? He could be blunt, demanding, some might say. He wasn't trying to be, it's just not everyone could work at the same pace as he did, for as long as he did. Yeah, that makes sense. Even with the whole company huffing those inhalers, they couldn't keep pace with David. Speaking of which, I don't see any at Young's desk. Maybe it's just not something you leave out in the open at her level. So you would say that his work-life balance was... Balance implies the two are at odds with one another. We used to work-life harmony here at the company. Don't do that. Fascinating. So, was he in harmony? No. David always had plenty of suitors, but he was never willing to put the time in. But I'm sure you're more knowledgeable than I am on that subject. Right. What do you mean? I had to help him draft a lot of apology notes over the years. Misunderstandings and double bookings. Scandalous. Animate 16. The A16 only entered production this year, correct? Correct. Pre-orders started last holiday and we began shipping in the first quarter. I understand that you were instrumental in the success of Warm Androids. I played my part supervising the launch. Yes. Weren't you the one who designed synatonin? The factor that enabled communication between synthetic and organic parts? I'm surprised you heard of that. I did lead that project, yes, but that was years ago. At the time, synatonin was a little more than a novelty, a dead end. It wasn't until David took the reins on the A16 that we found a use for it. Took the reins? He was lead programmer on limb coordination, facial expression, exhaustion parameters, and he designed the synthetic nerves that made all of that possible. David did all of that? That's a lot more than just programming. Was he always so gifted in that many fields? Did he fill those roles on the A14 or A15? No. He used to stick steadfast to his role as a software architect. That was his field of expertise, and he didn't wander far. But 2 or 3 years back, he started sitting in on other departments, taking notes. Soon, he was joining the discussion, proposing new ideas, and eventually they came to follow his lead. Just like that. Just like that. So he just applied himself, and soon he was leading the other departments? That's the kind of genius that Dr. David Asher was. Maybe they weren't paying him enough. The company profited the most, of course, but the entire industry benefited from his vision and leadership. His loss will be felt for years. Interesting. And now let's talk about Sarah. So this android, Sarah. Even Dawes couldn't find any real details on where it came from. It's not in any of our systems. I'm afraid not. Did David ever talk to you or anyone else at the company about a pet project? Pet? No, he never gave me any indication like that. And if he didn't talk to me about it, I seriously doubt he confided in anyone else at the company. David didn't trust anyone higher on the chain than himself, and anyone below him. Frankly, they couldn't possibly hope to give him advice. He never mentioned me. No, never. Androids don't come cheap. You never heard about him requisitioning parts or resources? There were never any discrepancies with his company credit card? The company's accountants are mirthless, even by industry standards. They wouldn't humor anybody. Not even David Escher. If they had ever detected financial discrepancies, there would have been an uproar loud enough you could hear it in the mailroom. You have a mailroom? Not since the 30s. Just a figure of speech. He couldn't have taken resources from the company without leaving a record. But no one would deny Dr. David Asher information. He would have been able to obtain all the necessary data to build his own android. Then, with enough time and money, he could privately purchase the raw materials himself. I don't understand it. It must have taken him years to build Sarah. He wasn't doing anything illegal, except the hacking stuff. So why keep it a secret? I don't know. But he was private and a perfectionist. Perhaps he simply wasn't proud of his results. Could be. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. I'm sure this had been a difficult day for you. A difficult day for all of us. Message from Fran. I'm running out of leads to the chase. The brat better have good news. Are you really going to take this to court? That's my plan. The circumstances may be irregular, but I'm still defending a client from a criminal charge. It's my responsibility to argue that he's not guilty of what he's been accused of. And is that what you believe? That he didn't commit suicide? I guess I haven't decided what I believe. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. It doesn't feel like he committed suicide, but I don't know what his plan was. In transit. Would you kindly slow the hell down? I'm sorry, Adonai. Was I walking too quickly for you? That wasn't walking. That was speed walking. Up 2 flights of stairs. It's very different. Speed walking sounds like a powerful technique. Is it like Zen Jiao? Just let me catch my breath for a minute. Adonai, is it possible that you are out of shape? What is this? What does this mean? No. But since we left the cab, your heart rate has. I'm not wearing the right clothes or the right shoes. Is that so? Yes. Also, I didn't stretch or hydrate, and the sun's reaching its zenith. That would have been several hours ago. Do you mean the air temp? You said it would be a short walk from street level, so I prepared myself mentally for a short walk. Then you took off like a rocket, and you didn't mention we'd have to go upstairs. Are you sure this place is even back here? The reviews online were quite clear. It's worth the trouble finding it. Maybe if you're a mountain climber. When I sent Fran hunting for a musician in David's circles, I expected them to bring me someone from the city orchestra or a jazz club. The champagne flute and the teacup kind of musician. But this is the tequila and the neon part of town. Should be in view if we turn. Adonai, be careful. Of what? It's a stray, and it's baring its fangs too. Could be carrying diseases. You should relax. Adonai, it's growling. It's not growling at me. See? So it's just me that it doesn't like. Too much static. How did you get it to calm down? It's an animal, not a monster. It wants to be calm. Do you like animals? What kind of cold-blooded freak doesn't like animals? Do you have a pet? No, never have. Why not? Because I don't want to take care of a pet. Yeah, fair. Right now, I think having a pet would be really cool. But also, I don't really feel like being chained down to a pet. So I get it, Morgan. You psycho lawyer, you. It seems counterintuitive to me. Well, it makes perfect sense to me. And I don't need it to make sense to you. But you notice you're only this talkative when it's just the two of us? Just an observation. You shy or something? Did David program you to have android anxiety? It's generally only appropriate to respond comments that are addressed to oneself. Today, I have rarely been addressed directly by people other than you. In other words, you're shy. That is not what I... Can I try petting it? There's no law against it. Maybe it'll pet. Oh, yeah. She's gonna pet it. It's our new daughter. Sorry, Morgan. You have a daughter. Ultraviolets. Oh, hell yeah. This is the establishment. Now to see if Isaac Porter is as habitual as Fran claims. Do you think Father was close with this man? This man who you've never met? Yeah. Let me see. I think he was close with him, yeah. At some point. I had some help making that deduction. Fran saw that their metadata showed a significant cooling of interaction between the two of them, particularly over the past month. But Fran also saw a phone call between the two last night. So they were close. Do you think they were sleeping together? That is completely inappropriate for me or anyone to speculate about. Inappropriate? Adonai. It's only... I'm getting a very important text message from my private investigator. Excuse me. We're dancing around it. It's our brat. Did you catch that killer yet? No. What the hell? I sent you his POS. Was it place of something? I'm at his position. Oh, it's Puzz position. I haven't spoken to Porter yet. Anyway, there's no reason to suspect him right now. Lame. Surprised you're invested all of a sudden. Isn't David Escher a corporate sellout in your eyes? Everyone's a corporate sellout. But Escher gets respect. If I'm a demolitions expert, he's like a really good architect. That's almost sweet, I think. Escher started out working in Cube. So in the architect analogy, by today's standards, he's like, I don't know. As a kid, he built all his bricks by hand or something. You know that lit homework can help you with forming analogies. You know, literature can do that. Eat this analogy. Did that come through or did the characters break? It's supposed to be a guy giving you the finger. I take it Cube is a programming language. What's special about it? Pretty much anything coded in the last 20 years is web-based. You code with the assumption that you'll always be connected. So you can depend on having fat libraries of references to lean on. And if something does go wrong, your errors get reported to you automatically. But not Cube. You can look it up. But basically Cube was originally for robotics and like machinery. Stuff that had to operate in mines, under the ocean. Middle of nowhere fields with zero signal service. So Cube had to be self-sufficient. How rugged. Where'd Escher learn Cube anyway? It's older than dirt. From like the 40s. I don't know. I think his father had machine shop or something. Vague. That brat is great. Yeah, well, David didn't like to talk about his family, and I never asked. What did your private investigator have to say, Adonai? Not telling. I don't want to talk. Let's inspect. The stage for the talent, pretty close to the floor. Guess it fits with the whole round table aspect of this place. Everyone's on more or less equal footing, dancing in the dark once you get past the bouncer. Do you think they might have met here, David and Porter? I can't see David walking in here. Because you found the walk so challenging? Sarah is savage. Because it's too loud to relax. And not dark enough to be anonymous. I see. What's that face? You got an opinion to share? The atmosphere's not bad in here, but the music isn't quite. I'll find you a survey to fill out before we leave. What kind of music does an android even like? Early 21st century punk rock. Is that just you, or does that go for all androids? I haven't met all androids. I cannot speak for them. Wonder what they'd say. If they're smart, they'd say the music peaked with early 21st century punk rock. Debate settled. We figured it out, gang. It was, what? A praise? Fuck. A bar stocked full of colorful selections and busy bartenders. Hope this isn't the kind of club you can order food in. Only time bar food is any good is when you're drunk enough to forget the taste in the gap between chewing and swallowing. So you can, like, eat things? Yes, I can. What, like android food? There's no such product. So what do androids eat? Online user guides for Noble's War models clarified that they don't eat anything in the traditional sense. They get their energy from electrical charging, usually wireless. Whenever they need to eat, it's to replenish specific vitamins and electrolytes. Sounds a lot like what mod users go through with their sports drinks and energy bars and charger separation anxiety. According to the net, warm androids can ingest nutrient-rich processed carbohydrate pellets if they need to forgo electrical charging long term. Ah, I see. Processed pellets? You mean like kibble? Like dog food? No, it's not like dog food at all. Can you buy it from the pet store? It seems that you can. How is this something you have to look up anyway? Because I always just eaten whatever father gave me. Like what? Marbled beef? Never hydroponic avocados. Oh, never hydroponic avocados. Foie gras. Wait, what the hell is never hydroponic? Called sourcing food exclusively from farms utilizing natural sunlight. Oh, I see. Hydroponics is like doing indoor growing using, I guess, specific bulbs to grow the things. And using water. Like just kind of a water system. I always kind of wanted to make one for myself in my own basement. Or, I don't have a basement right now, but if I did have one, it would be nice to put one in. All right. That sort of thing. I am not paying for any of that. Yeah, that's pretty fancy shit. Oh, I can read. What kind of reading material gets left out in a club? A tabloid interview? Hell yeah. It's a long one. Exclusive sit-down with luxury. You've heard her name on everyone's lips. You've seen her face in magazines and commercials, and then double-check to make sure the photos weren't labeled as edited. Now get your burning questions about her answered here in our exclusive interview with the mysterious young woman who's been called, in perhaps the only truly unanimous vote the net's ever seen, the most beautiful woman in the world. Okay. Why the name? People think it's an ego thing, but it was just a random username I picked back when I was grassroots. Then it was a pseudonym to give me a little shade from all the attention. Now it's a brand, and I can't change it without setting the stock market into a spin, so you're certainly influential. After partnering with you, Inti saw a 3,000 increase in share price. I thought this was one word for some reason. Yay, I'm happy for them, of course, but to be honest, it's a pain at times like this. She gestures towards her clothes, a plain white t-shirt and gym shorts, with no branding visible. On anyone else, it might seem sloppy or even unflattering. On her, it only makes her natural beauty stand out that much more. All right. Who are you wearing, by the way? Sigh. Well, sigh. Can't wear anyone unless I'm attending something. If I don't dress like this, all my sponsors fall into bidding wars every time I leave the house. Oh, that's terrible. Does it stress you, all the attention? Stress is bad for your skin, right? They say mine's flawless. Can't argue with that. So do you have a skincare routine? Any tips you'd like to share? Be a little bratty. Act a little spoiled. Keeps you young. And how old are you exactly? Everyone's dying to know. 18 to 29. Now and forever. Don't get stuck on a cliffhanger like that. Hurry! Log in below so you can read the rest. Quickly, time is running out. Why is time running out? Well, however old she is or isn't, Luxury's got one hell of a mind for business. Might do her more good than that face in the end. Maybe. It's one hell of a face. the meantime, she's... Yeah, she sounds powerless at the moment. Yeah. Well, she sounds powerful, but for her, she feels like she's kind of stuck. At least that's what I get from the article I'm reading, because I'm like setting a stock market. Yeah, it seems like she's just being pulled around. I'm happy for them, of course, but to be honest, yeah. Yeah, so she feels kind of off. I won't say powerless. Trapped between a rock and a hard place, if she steps out of line, her sponsors will bleed each other dry in a bidding wars for her wardrobe's limited real estate. It's no skin off her back. She's already got more money than she could ever spend. But corporations can't afford to not keep growing, so they never reach a point where they can afford to lose. If she's smart enough to take advantage of that, good for her. Oh. Oh yeah, that's him, all right. Oh, interesting look. I guess I was wrong. I guess she's powerful. I don't know. She seemed to be complaining a whole bunch. I feel like people who complain a lot are not in like the best position if they're complaining about their job, but maybe it does mean she's feeling pretty good about her job. Yeah. Looks like he's killing time before his sets tonight. Are you unsure how to proceed, Adonai? I'm sure that you need to hang back. As for me, I think playing it cool is... Nah. I'm gonna just play it straight. I'm tired of this dancing around stuff. Isaac Porter. What's up? My name's Morgan. I was David's friend. Right now, I'm his lawyer. Can we talk? Depends. Were you a friend from work? No. Over here. Nice. Thanks, Isaac. Porter, let me see. September 18th. Musician, bassist. Itineraries, grilling and champagne. Those are some good likes. Dislikes, resistance training. Producers, ADDs. Damn. The best at, gift giving. The worst at, folding laundry. Favorite quote, I don't do requests. It's 183. Don't thank me yet. I'ma just sit here, shut my mouth, and stick you with my tab. So what kind of lawyer are you? What kind of friend? I'm his defense attorney. Think you missed the bus on that then, yeah? And I'm a friend that needs to know what happened yesterday. Doesn't everyone? Try somewhere else, friendly lawyer. I haven't seen him in weeks. You might not have seen him, but we both know that you spoke with him over the phone yesterday. Only a short time before he died. How the hell? Isaac. It's pretty obvious that you don't want this particular spotlight to linger on you any longer than necessary, so why don't we cut to the chase? No lies, no playing coy. Fine. Sarah. Yes, Adonai. The hell? Is that thing transmitting? I am not streaming any data, no. Porter doesn't seem to recognize Sarah either. One more person David was keeping secrets from. I need to record everything for the court. Fine. You two are together. Is that correct? We were together. I ended it. Yesterday. Oh. Care to elaborate? On our entire relationship? Look, you can tell me everything once, and I can get it on the record. Or you can hear the same questions over and over again from 1,000 different cops and Megs for the next 3 months. Met in a bar. I had seen him come in a few times, each time with someone else. Each time talking his mouth, but not looking with his eyes. It ticked me off. Scribbling on napkins and letting his single gin and tonic sweat into the table for 2 hours. His dates would all go to the bathroom or take a call and slip out the back. One of them didn't make it 10 minutes, and he'd still sit there the rest of the night, unfazed. Couldn't tell if he was oblivious or stupid or shameless or the most confident man in the world. And he ticked me off. One night, things were slow and my set had been canceled, and his date hadn't even bothered to think of an excuse before bailing, so I asked him why he'd insisted in coming there night after night. just to ignore vapid people he wasn't interested in at the shitty bar with drinks he didn't like. And he just said, "Because I like your music." Man, did that tick me off. It was cute early on, him being so passionate about work I could barely pretend to understand. And I liked that we gave each other space, you know. Felt like we were being mature or whatever. Until... There was no until. No one day where everything turned sour. But at some point, I started to understand where his priorities were. And how I ranked in them. Like I said, he was passionate about his work. I just wrongly assumed that he would also be that passionate about me at some point. So I pulled away a little, wanted to see if he'd notice, if he'd miss me. Testing him like that isn't the biggest red flag in the world. He never budged. I could ignore him for days and he wouldn't be the least bit ashamed to see me. I think what's interesting is that to me, that was not going to get David's attention. Because he is different. And he probably knew he was different from him, so he was testing him to see if he was just another normal guy. If I picked a fight, he'd never get angry or upset. He'd just apologize. He didn't want to fight with me. Guess he was never invested enough to bother. Though there is the apathy that David is showing. It was my mistake. I watched him sit there all those nights not giving a shit when people walked away, and still I walked away. Had this stupid idea that somehow, for whatever reason, I would be different. That I would be special. But I wasn't, so I ended it. Last night, I called him, didn't expect he'd pick up. I had everything prepared to leave a message with an assistant, an ADD or whatever, but he answered, first ring. Without hesitation, shame, or awkwardness. And that ticked me off. This is annoying. You're an annoying person. So I told him exactly how valued he had made me feel in the past few months. Told him exactly how insignificant I felt as the boyfriend of the illustrious Dr. David Asher. And what did he say? He apologized. And then he asked me if that was all I called to tell him. Woof. I hung up after that. Spent the rest of the night wrapped in a warm disdain for him and his coldness. He had made that easy for me. I went to sleep hurt but clean, ready for something new. And then this morning I wake up to see that my ex killed himself not 2 hours after he let me walk out of his life without so much as a don't. What the hell, man? What the hell, David? And now you're just the tip of an iceberg of lawyers and reporters and buzzards. Parasites who want to hear about the man who sent David Asher over the edge. Never wanted to be his last lifeline, or the straw that broke his back. Just wanted to be his goddamn boyfriend. Turns out that was asking for too much. It's yet to be determined whether David committed suicide. You serious? You don't have all the facts. And you do? Any one of them point to anything else? Thought so. Thanks for your time. I'll let you get back to it. That's it? No summons? The court has no need for you to retell a sad story like that. The court, huh? Sorry to bother you at work. Sarah, let's go. Your discography is very impressive. Yeah, thanks. And your range is remarkable. So it pained me to see that all your works in the last quarter have been so melancholy. I think... Well, what the hell would you know about any of that? What's the matter? Can't find the words? Need to steal them from somewhere first, butcher them before shitting them back out? I was not trained on any data sets of... Nah, pardon me. My mistake, really. Not your fault you're only standing here because rich prick nerds were allowed to rob the world blind for most of the century. Sarah, we're leaving. I don't like that guy. He sucks. The hell was that about? He was under the false impression that I was programmed using a massive automated learning model at an early 21st century. Not that. Why did you talk to him? I wanted to. Just felt like I should say something to him. A word of advice. People don't want comfort from strangers, especially when they're androids. They want it from people they want it from. Coming from anywhere else, it's just corn syrup on a parched tongue. Doesn't matter how sweet it is, they'll just start gagging. You know a lot about people, don't you, Adonai? Compared to you, I'm a goddamn savant. Come on, there's not much time left. Is there still somewhere you want to investigate? Somewhere where I need to return to, actually. Porter was right. As things stand, I don't have any evidence that could establish an alternative interpretation of the facts. But if there did exist hard evidence that could prove his death wasn't a suicide, there's only one place I could find it at this point. He had a very unlikable boyfriend. Don't get me wrong, I get it. He's an emotional guy, but I don't know. The way he spoke just pissed me off. Penthouse basement. Ah, yes, the basement. You sure you don't want another look at the crime scene? I'm all out of time. Gotta approach this from the other angle. The other angle? You know, inductive versus deductive, flip the chessboard and all that. Exactly. You know, sometimes the most suspect place is the place with no smoking gun. If there's a smoking gun everywhere. Oh, whoops. Haven't you ever seen a mystery novel? I've seen mystery films. Well, let's see if you paid any attention then. What killed David Asher? Poison. 10 points. There's a point system? Now, how did that poison get into his bloodstream? He must have ingested it orally. And how do we know that? The medical examiner found no injection marks or wounds. And if he had inhaled it, why? Leave the whys to someone who actually understands them. I won't be able to understand anything if I don't practice. Practice by answering my question. I suppose it's possible, but highly unlikely. We would have found a delivery system for it in the building, like an inhaler. Right, an airborne poison is either shoved in your face or sprayed over a wide area, and no one around David had shown any kind of symptoms. So all we're left is an oral intake, eliminating the impossible. What's next, Adonai? Young's corroborated statement was that David didn't exhibit any irregular symptoms or behavior until he started drinking that night, and the police didn't find anything unusual in any of the food or drink in his home. Except for his cup. The results were inconclusive. Young was drinking from the same bottle and the same type of cup, but didn't get sick. We have to conclude then that David's cup alone was poisoned. That all seems logical and consistent with the police's theory of suicide. So why are we down here? Minus 10 points. Back to 0. David left the parlor and came back with whiskey and 2 cups. Came down here to go get that whiskey. Young told us as much, and apparently the cameras upstairs support her story. So we have to conclude then that he got them both from this bar. Better, 5 points. Did he also get the poison from the cabinet? The police have been in here since we left. According to their ARCS file, they didn't find anything that matches that poison down here. So the poison somehow went straight into his drinking cup then. I need to flip this around again. If you turn something 360 degrees, you'll just get back to, if I were the prosecution, what would I want more than anything? Proof that David knowingly added the poison himself. He wouldn't do that. And you can make that claim because there's no video evidence to contradict you. How long was David off camera? From 7:36 p.m. to 7:40 p.m. when he left the parlor to get liquid from his bar. 4 minutes. So if we had David on camera for those 4 minutes and he didn't poison himself in that time, he would have a perfect alibi for the crime, proving his innocence. But Adonai, we don't have footage of that. There are no security cameras down here. I think there are. What do you mean? This whole building is coded head to toe in penumbra security systems, courtesy of Noble. Every console, every corner, every android on every floor, it's all plugged into penumbra. Except that. That panel is manufactured by Cotter Security Systems. Why would David put a console of a different security system in exactly one corner of his penthouse? I've never given it much thought. Well, it's been bothering me all day. But my curiosity alone can't scale a 64-digit wall. You mean signal hijacking or whatever you want to call it. Have you tried it before? It is illegal and unnecessary. Father would not have installed hidden cameras in his own home. At the end of the day, I can't make you do anything. Well, actually, I probably can now that you're registered to me. But aren't you the one who wanted to prove his innocence? Eliminate the impossible. I will need you need your express verbal command. Not like David can press charges against us at this point. Do it. Did you really need me to say it? For the purposes of record keeping, yes. I've gotten past 64-digit code, and I have found cameras. There are a number of them embedded into the room's walls and ceilings. As you theorized, they are on separate network from the rest of the building. Where are they feeding to, if not penumbra systems? Behind my hibernation unit. A false wall in the back of a safe. I don't understand. Why would Father possibly have hidden a system of cameras inside his own home? Beats me. He was brilliant, and more than a little odd. Throw in a little money and odd becomes eccentric. I see. I think? I don't. The hell was he thinking? What was he afraid of? Why didn't he come to me for? Time's short. Gather facts now, and leave the computation for later. I do love that she cares. Okay. Peruse. What did David even do with all this equipment? Dry his laundry? What makes you so sure he wasn't exercising? Did you ever see him use any of this crap? No, but he must have used the weights when I wasn't looking, since he promised me that he'd take better care of his health. Sarah, these weights are all maxed out. David couldn't have put up numbers like this even if he was piloting a frame. Don't be so sure, Adonai. Pardon? The following is a true story based on primary sources who were present for the event and its aftermath. Copenhagen, 1981, 8:10 a.m. local time. A towering man with the musculation of a world-class professional rugby player enters a global Danke bank in Fredericksburg Lane. He explains to the bank teller that he has a bomb in his suitcase, and he wants his gym bag filled with unmarked bills. A security guard approaches him from behind with a nightstick and swings, but the man simply catches the weapon and bends it into a twisted knot with his massive dinner plate-sized hands. When asked to describe the suspect to the police afterwards, the teller had only this to say: that man was all muscle. The rest of the bank heist proceeds without incident, and the man exits the building just as the police arrive on the scene, when suddenly his suitcase explodes. But it's just a smokescreen. Local officers quickly recognize the ploy and rush towards the door, grabbing each of the hostages as they flee while desperately searching for their perpetrator. What they find instead is a diminutive, frail, sheepish young man, barely 160 centimeters tall, holding a gym bag full of money with no recollection of how he got there. Renowned psychologist and trained hypnotist Dr. Werner Kurtzer wrote the following in his diagnosis: acute dissociative identity disorder. That's right, the man had a split personality. And so great was the disparity between his two halves that they switched control. He physically changed, becoming taller, bulkier, and capable of previously unthinkable feats of strength. So be careful what you say. A man like Father can't do, just because of how he looks on the outside. Sarah, every single word you just said was false. Huh? Don't believe everything you read on the net. Yeah, that's not how that works. I was like, he became bigger. The fuck? It's not how that works. What's the story with this anyway? Some kind of fault in the foundation? I don't know. I've never noticed that crack before. Might want to get those eyes checked. There's nothing wrong with my vision. This crack must have been created during my most recent hibernation. That is what I'm paying attention to. You don't know. How? How did David drop a weight a bunch of times over and over in the same spot? Something fell here. Something hit here. Curious. Take in. Peruse. The liquor cabinet this mystery hinges on. The police have been through this all by now, and they didn't find foreign contents in any of the spirits. No poison to be found. Well, no poison to be found here. Well, not that kind of poison anyway. In which case, can I make you anything? Well, if you're offering, I'll have. Sorry. You're way underage, aren't you? 2 years old or whatever. Also, I got distracted because it's like, there's no poison here. And I was like, wait, alcohol's a poison. Technically, took that one a lot worse than I expected. Damn, our girl does not want to be 2 years old. Cheer up, maybe you'll find a mocktail if you climb to the top of the ladder. This is a rolling ladder. A kind of step ladder, not a ladder. What? Is this a Phoenix Wright Is this a Phoenix Wright reference? Remember, a ladder extends, but a step ladder folds out. Is this another Phoenix Wright reference? And it's important to know the distinction. I bet my life savings that this subject would never come up again, ever. Very Phoenix Wright. Well done, gang. Wait. Is that it? Oh, the advance is just there. So that's the original. It was appraised and confirmed to be genuine. At least he didn't get ripped off. I'm a Philistine when it comes to this kind of stuff. What does an android see? I see a meeting, or perhaps an encounter. Two apex forces of nature, two kings of the forest, the stag and the tiger. Huh, interesting. I think. Great, I'm officially less cultured than the robot. Alright, let's refocus here. So there's some kind of hidden door behind your bunk bed, huh? Essentially, though a bunk bed would simply be imply a second or third. How do we open it? One moment. I see. I got it open already? I cannot open this door. Why? It's a Tethys Basics Sturdy Cure. That anti-hack feature in the name is real? It's a closed system, Adonai. The hell am I supposed to do now? Strange. There was an if-then toggle enabled in the security parameters. I don't follow. When Father last just adjusted the settings here, he made it so that the door would never open so long as I was hibernating. He made it so that I was the only one who could wake her up. Meaning this is a door only I can open? It'll be a 6-character password, some combination of numbers or letters. Did you and Father have any influential moments in your life that revolved around a 6-letter word? Poo-poo. Nothing comes to mind. It's not poo-poo. Is there a code word that he knew only I could learn? Wait, no. Oh, God. Why would they do this to me? Why can't I check my stuff before they force me to do this? All right. Like, what should I expect? What numbers? I'm trying to remember numbers. I don't play these in the same day. Crap, I don't remember anything. I need to check my notes. There you go. No dice. Yeah, of course no dice. Didn't have anything. Cube. The 27-day siege. Cube, huh? Malleability, copper. Okay, this is not helpful. Chromafuge. No. Nope. Nope. Valuation Sarah's financial value by insurance algorithm. Worked on. It's now deceased, cannot create, blah, blah. Very large sum. Talk screen. Witness testimony. Why did he need me? What do I know? Wait, where's my name? Morgan. Oh no, what was my full name again? It was like Evangeline. That's not. It's not a 6-letter word. Maybe it's just Morgan. No dice. Could it be your birthday or his? If it was something as dumb as that, I'd never forgive him. It's probably that. It was like, I'm trying to check, and I'm like, I don't know his actual birthday. Like, what year was he born? I don't know. They don't put it. Francois Snow. It's a cool name, actually. Young. Cannot ask someone that body count. December 26. Trigonometry. Starling. It's kind of one of those things where I'm like, man, there's terms. We had the blue painting, which was 11/25/58. Unless it's 09/25/58. I mean 02/25/58. I need to pick a code. That didn't work either. Perhaps a deep breath would help you refocus, Adonai. It's not like I'm taking multiple choice tests, Sarah. Either I know the answer or I don't. I see. So do you know the answer, Adonai? I'm getting there. Wait. Why can't I check my stuff when I'm doing it? It's so annoying. Oh, okay. Let me see. What am I supposed to be expecting? Morgan. Morg? Was that your name you just tried? It's 6 characters, isn't it? Yes, but it's not exactly secure, Adonai. Anyone who knew you and Father were close could have tried guessing it. Was there some word that only the two of you knew? What was it? Do I have anything that's like put somewhere? Was a renowned blah blah blah. Rest of his life he was. No. Mods, noble, preliminary hearing. Tenets, Tethys, Turing solutions. Something to do with the business thing? Oh, man. Am I supposed to pay attention to that? Let me see. Let me customize my phone. Oh, wait, it's true. I have store credits. Wow, that's exciting. Well, excuse me. I'm going to have a... Oh, Morgan time. Hell yeah, Morgan time. Yeah, it's Morgan time, baby. Can I grab it? Oh, fuck yeah. It's fucking cool. I don't want to be charmless. Are you crazy? And I think my phone case should be pretty. Oh, let's go, Sarah. That's so cute. Oh, they're all charms. I see. Well, I want my case to be red. Ray is Angie. All right. Those are fun. I'll get to those at some point, but okay. David's autopsy. Poison? Water glass? Young's cup. Why does it make that noise? Whiskey. Whiskey spilt. Witness testimony. This is... I mean, I feel like this is like a lot to think about. Like... Trying to think. Wait. Some word only the two of you knew. Six characters. Is that your name you just tried? Yes, but it's not exactly secure, Adonai. Anyone who knew you and Father were close could have tried guessing it. Is there some word that only two of us know? Is there something we say? Unless it's between me and Sarah. Wait. Oh, wait. I need to check my cell phone again. Is there terms? Turing solution, subpoena, noble. Sarah is Oh. A nickname. I wish everyone calls me Morgan. Oh. But not everyone. No way. Ah! I was so annoyed. It's opening. What was the password, Adonai? You'd never guess. Ugh. Okay, I needed that hint, because I was just like, man, I'm stuck. Feel a bit of out of character, David utilizing so much cloak and dagger tech. I've definitely been struggling with the idea of him doing home improvement. One step in here and it all makes sense. It's a panic room. Scary. A panic room is a place for rich people to hide in where people start bouncing bricks off their windows. They're typically not even on the blueprints. So when Noble built this penthouse for one of their executives, someone slipped this into the mix, and it's remained in Noble's blind spot ever since. All David had to do was repurpose it. Make sure you're capturing all of this. I don't want to miss any one of my one chance because of a discovery technicality. I understand, but you needn't specify. My memory is flawless, and I can play back visuals, sounds, sensations. I can even give detailed reports on air particulates. You mean you can smell? Better than any human, and some canines. So does it smell stale in here to you? Stale? It doesn't to me. Almost like someone's been in here recently. Almost like someone visits here frequently. Alright, let's try booting up the computer. You don't think the console is password protected? 2 physical doors, a 64-digit code, a half-ton Android, and a secret phrase. If David set a password on his PC after that, I'm going back to the morgue and have a word with him. I thought I would have said I'm gonna kill him, because I'm like, damn man, why are you making me go through all this? Good, it's already signed in. You're looking for camera footage, but also settle for a note plainly stating that he feared for his life. What am I doing? Here, you search for the video files. They'll probably be timestamped and formatted for short-range devices. I have the subfolder. The cameras stream live data constantly, but the files are clipped in fairly regular intervals. Once every week, it seems. The most recent video file here has footage going back 8 days. It was accessed yesterday around 4 p.m. You were asleep then, so the only person who could have gotten here at the time is David himself. Alright, let's see it then. Of course, it's just that I am having difficulty. Try double-clicking? I have been trying to open the files from the moment I discovered them, Adonai, but they are encrypted. Damn it, David. You leave me enough clues to get this far, but you won't let me use your computer? What's the brand on the encryption program? If I rush a subpoena, I might have a backdoor I could bluff them into. These files are not encrypted with any commercially available tool. This appears to be Father's own work. Shit. If David Escher hand-wrote the encryption on these files, there's no one alive who could. Hey, was Dawes just flattering you back there? Or is your processing power really that special? Adonai, can you break his encryption, yes or no? With enough time. And how much time would that be? I would estimate at 2 to 6 hours. That's a 4-hour window. No matter how sophisticated encryption is still just a code that must be deciphered. And when deciphering any code, progress proceeds exponentially, which makes it particularly difficult to determine the amount of time required to complete the process. 2 to 6 hours. I don't have any better options. Get started. I started 4 minutes and 23 seconds ago. Finally showing some initiative. But you've been talking to me this whole time. I have the ability to analyze data in parallel by utilizing subconscious processes, so long as the work required is rote. So you're doing it in the back of your head? Actually, I'm speaking to you in the back of my head. I could give you the decryption process my full undivided attention, but I would become non-responsive. Hey, that's a pretty nifty feature. I'll have to keep that in mind. Alright, can you take this show on the road, or do we have to rip this computer out of the wall and find a battery? I have copied the encrypted files and we'll work on them as we travel. We can leave whenever you're ready. Still, can't believe David let me get this far just to shut the door in my face at the last second. But he did let me get this far. And the computer's not the only thing in here. The cabinets are a lot less eye-catching than his computer, But knowing David, that's all the more reason to check. Lots of paperwork, bonds and holdings, a platinum bar. His birth certificate might be nearly as valuable. Can't imagine what people would pay to steal David Asher's identity. And down here at the bottom, a binder. Noble's logo in the front and in the middle. Enough pages to dwarf one of those phone books you see in period pieces. I like that it's called a period piece. They're masking it in legalese, even on the table of contents, but basically, this is his employment contract. Hold on to this for me. It must be very important if you're giving it to me. It's certainly very heavy. Was there anything else in there? Expecting an updated copy of his will to show up? It is a possibility, isn't it? Maybe in a corny old murder mystery. A wildly beloved and respected genre with over 2 centuries of there is something else, your papers. That Evangeline Morgan be given immediate and complete ownership of the android designated Sarah. It's dated to a few weeks back. Had he already made up his mind about all this? If he had, why'd he hide this when no one else could find it? Was I just a backup plan? Well, at least we got something a bit more concrete than Starling's word now. Her word should be plenty, shouldn't it? Not if people realize how precious you are. As a collector's item, we've yet to meet one person who knows what the hell you are. But Noble could have easily argued that you'd fall under private technology or physical holdings. Unless I had something like this. It's good that you do then. I'm glad that father wanted me to go with a friend of his. Yeah. This'll get me a huge tax write-off when I donate you for a profit college. Could at least pick a charitable institution. It's just an old saying. All colleges have been for profit since the 60s. It doesn't make me feel any better. You can cheer up in the car. Hail us a ride to the courthouse. Priority. There is an upcharge at this hour for priority transfer station. That's irritating. But I'd like to have more than a few minutes to prepare once we get there. The upcharge is a multiplier of 5.7. I'll prepare on the way over. Very good, Adonai. All right. Just sitting in silence. Does it excite you going into the courtrooms? What do you mean? You don't feel the tension in the air as the audience murmurs amongst themselves? You don't feel a fiery sense of justice rising in your gut as the prosecution smirks at your ragtag assembly of witnesses? Do you really think this is going to be like some kind of movie where the good guys save the day? Probably not. Though that would be nice if it were. What's your deal anyway? Did David train you off of a movie marathon from hell or something? We did watch films together, if that's what you're asking, though he was rarely the one who suggested it. So you were the aggressor. What's an android get out of watching a flick anyway? What do I get? Why do you do it? What's your reason? I'm not sure how to answer your question. Never mind. Forgot who I was talking to. I like the performances. Sure, there you go. Got a crush on Humphrey Bogart or something? He is a handsome man, but not the actors I like so much as their performance. The truth is, besides father, I have very little experience when it comes to people. I hadn't noticed. I read the net and I watch people and what they share of their lives, but it's all so subtle, so hard to follow. There are so many unspoken rules that can't be taught, only learned, and I often struggle to grasp them. You're all so complex, so detailed, but the characters on screen are exaggerated, larger than life. The actors enunciated, their body language is precise and meaningful. Their faces are bright and softly lit, and their eyes are... It's friction, so these characters and their stories, they have a beginning, a middle, and end. And the people on screen don't ask anything of you except your attention. You can't disappoint them or make them feel awkward. You can just watch and learn. But what about you, Adonai? What about me? Do you like movies? Yeah, sure. Back when I was a kid. Really? Who was your favorite director, and what was your favorite film? It was a long time ago. I don't remember. State building. Floor 48. All right, I'm going to leave things here. Looks like we're going to get into the meat of things, and I guess we're going to start getting into the actual discussion portion of the game. So looking forward to that. Guess we're going to see what my poker chips are going to be used for. Anyways, see you guys in the next one. Take care.